Hey guys, Cameron Davis back with another prediction video for AVGL Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This one's going to be between a really important match for the last week of Group A in AVGL's 2016-2017 Counter-Strike Global Offensive season. It's going to be between Illini Esports team Ignis and the Ottawa GeeGees. This is going to be a little short, just a little bit because I've become disillusioned with making prediction videos for collegiate teams. I realized that with the range of skill levels between all the different teams in groups, it's sometimes hard to accurately grasp the skill level of a particular team. And even though you can suss out different patterns and tendencies of them, at this skill level, 9 times out of 10, it's just who has the better carry or better carries on it. But it's an interesting thought process nonetheless. In this one, I actually do think it kind of lines up a little bit. So GeeGees they have like their main carry Mario, and Placebo is kind of a backup. And they are very much a play for picks and then fall into a site. Like when they're on the T side, they play for picks and they fall into a site with that. And they much prefer maps like Cache and Mirage, the more shooting maps that you can do. Ignis, on the other hand, favorite map is Train, second favorite map is Nuke, and then everything else afterwards. So they really actually like the more strategic team-based maps. Whether that's because they feel more, whether that's because they like the whole teamwork aspect of it, or if they've just practiced it a lot because they know that a lot of other teams wouldn't, and so they just have that in their map pool to have a better chance of winning, just because if they'll be playing teams that are not as good on it. I don't know which one of those it is, but they seem comfortable on the maps anyway. The thing about Ignis to note, though, is that so far in AVGL, they haven't really had any real competition. They had a forfeit win against Waterloo last week. They still have to play Ryerson from week 1, and then they're playing GeeGees this week. And those 3 teams, along with Ignis, are like all the 4 at the top. But I may have actually inaccurately placed Ignis that high up with those 3 teams that we know are really good, just because they haven't actually played anyone that strong in the group. Granted, when they're in other collegiate leagues like CSL, they made it all the way to the round of 16, and so that that takes a fair bit of skill. And they got knocked out by UCLA, which is not an easy team to beat at all. So that shouldn't give you too much. They did get really stomped, which was a little disappointing to see. But in any case, their style of play is it's generic in the middle. They don't focus on picks. They don't focus on pack terrorist play. If they get a pick, they'll get a pick, but they won't force it. But they also aren't super dedicated to the whole like 5-on-5, just throw the smokes at the side and get the execute. They're really versatile in how they play. And their carry is Bokumbop, who is of course really good because he's like they're carrying all that. It's not that hard of a carry like you'll see on other teams with like one really good player and everyone else is crap. It's just Bokumbop there, and then like everyone else kind of just a little bit below. The one big con, I guess, downside to weakness for Team Ignis is that they can be prone to getting overrun when they're on the CT side. But I don't think that'll be a problem against GeeGees because, as I said, GeeGees want to go for picks, and they don't get the picks. They play a little slow because they really want to make sure they get that opening pick before they go into a site. And so I think that's actually going to put this in Ignis's favor. So yeah, and also the fact that they can hold their own on like Cache and Mirage, which are definitely GeeGees maps. I really do think Ignis are going to come out on top of this. Probably 2-0 if I'm to be honest. but a 2-1 wouldn't be surprising either. And again, this is kind of all going to be under the assumption that Bokum Bop is at the same level that Mario is on GeeGees. All this mental like theory crafting stuff could go completely out the window when it comes down to comparing the actual skill levels of the carries, and just the aim of the teams themselves. You can only go at this level. You never see any teams that can dominate based on strats alone. Well, because you always need aim to back it up, but also the fact that these are college students. They don't have time to practice 8-10 hours a day, 6 days a week like pro teams are. So it's understandable why that the case is. It's unfortunate for me because it makes it, I'm not going to say impossible, but predictions aren't as easy to come across. But anyway, yeah, that's my prediction for tonight. Ignis taking GeeGees.